Hi guys, this is Naomi Jemtai. In case you are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel and consider subscribing. And for the returning subscribers, thanks so much for clicking back to my channel. So guys, today I want us to talk about something that we should keep private in our marriages. Things to keep private in your marriage. You know, a marriage is a bond between two people. And once you are married, you should not spill your secrets to other people because the Bible says you are meant to be one. So, guys, if you are one, it means that you should keep everything to yourself. So, guys, there are some situations in our lives whereby people spill things of their marriages and they end up spoiling their marriages. So, guys, I want to keep you some about 11 tips of things to be kept secret in your marriage. So number one is your spouse's salary. In this case, be careful, especially when sharing this information with your family members. They might want to take advantage of your spouse if she or she has a lot of money. So in this case, it means that if you expose your spouse's salary, if the salary is too much, the relatives or other people might want to take advantage. They come, they borrow money, pay school fees, do this because they know you have a lot of money because you've already spoiled. You've told them and they know that you have money. So you will have to give them. So your plans will be affected. And then if your spouse has less money and you have spilled it out, people will look down upon you and they will say that you have nothing. So you too, you know how much you bring to the basket of your family. So it's your responsibility to support your family if at all you want. And it's an understanding between the husband and wife, the two of you. You will decide that you see this relative is not able, let's help him or her pay school fees or do anything else. So it's not a must that people should know the money you have. It's between you two. You keep this secret to yourselves, and if you want to assist anybody, you can go ahead and assist, but it will be an agreement between the two of you. And then number two is what you have done for your spouse. In this case, it means that maybe you are fortunate than your spouse, and then maybe you've opened a business for him or for her, and then maybe you've bought a car, maybe you've paid education fees, maybe university fees or college fees for him or her, and then now, or maybe even you've bought him or her good clothes or gifts, expensive gifts. So why should you go telling people? Don't go informing people about it. By doing good to your spouse, you did it because you are one. It's not a must that you do it and then you go again telling people. And you did it from that thing that you did came from your heart. Unless it was not from your heart, that's when you'll go telling people. Because if it's not from your heart, maybe you'll go on bragging and telling people, I am able, I can do this, I can do this. So if this thing comes from your heart, so why go telling people? Let it be a secret between the two of you. You do not expose the other person. And then number three is your spouse's past. If your spouse maybe had a dark past, maybe he or she came from a very humble background, maybe he was addicted to drugs, maybe he was sexually abused, those are the past. So if your spouse had a dark past and you know about it, you don't go telling people about the past of your spouse. Or maybe even your spouse are deported in the past and you know, so why you go telling people? Let him or her disclose this to people if he or she wants to do so, but it should not be you who is going to tell people about the dark past of your spouse. And then another thing is your private prayers as a couple. As a couple, maybe you have things that you are struggling through. Maybe you don't have a child, maybe you are praying for God to open financial breakthroughs, or you want some solutions, some recurring problems in your family. So if you have your private prayers between the two of you, you should keep them as private as possible, because also if you go on exposing, it means that these prayers will not work because you are exposing them. They have not been answered, and you are already exposing that you are praying, we are doing this, we are doing this. So you better keep them a secret between the two of you until the victory comes. And then you don't have to invite others into your private war room. You know, a prayer is a war. So if you pray, no, prayer is a battle. So if you pray, you are fighting petals. So a prayer is a fighting petal. So do not invite anybody to your war room. Stay with your husband or wife and just um, pray and pray harder. Another thing is your spouse's inner struggles. If your spouse is struggling with an embarrassing addiction, maybe gambling, masturbation, or alcoholism, don't go telling people to show how disappointed you are. You might be disappointed, yes, but if this person is struggling against anything that is addiction or is holding him back, so please pray for him, talk to him, correct your spouse, and meditate the situation. Is there any need to ask someone? Let it be a counselor or a therapist to find. If at all you have to tell someone, tell a doctor or a therapist or someone who can help, but not anybody that you get on the way. You tell them the struggles and the problems that your husband or your wife has. Just to go and tell someone who can help him or her out of that problem. And then again, another thing, number 6, is your spouse's complaints about you. If your spouse is complaining about you, if there are things about you that your spouse doesn't like about you, change them instead of going there and telling people your complaints. Because people, at the end of the day, people will just go exposing you and telling other people. But if there is anything that you see that your spouse doesn't like, just if it's possible, change, and life continues. You don't have to go telling people your problems. And then another thing is your spouse's complaints about your friends. This is a secret that should be kept between you and your spouse. So don't go telling your friends. They might gang up against your spouse, and you might find yourself um, joining them to mock your spouse. If you go telling your friends about what your spouse doesn't like about them, your friends will eventually hate you, or they will gang up and you will join them in mocking your spouse. So analyze your spouse complaints. If they have merit, cut off or keep distance from that friend or friends. It's very simple. If you see that um, these complaints that my spouse says as merit, just cut off from your friends and keep distance slowly by slowly, and eventually you leave those friends and live your life. So another thing that you should keep as a secret in your marriage is your spouse's complaints about your relatives. This one is often there. There must be complaints from your spouse about your relatives. So if your spouse raises concern about your parents, siblings, or relatives, don't go telling them. If you go telling them, you will inflict an hatred between you, your spouse, and your relatives. So instead of going to tell them, you'll give them ammunition to attack and dislike your spouse. If you go telling your relatives about your spouse's dislikes about them, they will definitely attack or dislike your spouse. You are the bridge between your spouse and your relatives. So wisely use this information that your spouse has told you. Merit, if it's really merited, and you see that this information is really valid, you don't have to share with the people. Foster for a better bond between you, your husband, and your relatives. You don't have to. It should not be you who is exposing anything. So another problem is issues in your marriage. You should not expose issues that you have in your marriage. If your marriage is going through issues, don't go posting those issues online as you reveal your spouse's identity. Posting on your wall, hoping that your spouse will read and get attack message, is a big no. Solve issues. Instead of going and posting, thinking that your spouse will see what you posted and feel that you've really attacked him. No, please. Take your time, solve your problems. If it's really hard, find your close friends and tell them or your pastor, and your problems will be solved instead of going and posting everywhere. The world doesn't need to know everything about you. It's about you to solve your problems. If it's really a problem, look for a friend or a pastor and let it end there. And then another number 10, the secret that you should keep in your marriage is your spouse's sexual struggles. If your husband doesn't last long in bed or does not even easily don't or does not erect easily, do not expose. Those are some of the secrets that should be highly kept in marriage, because if you expose your husband like that, it's not really very nice, because it's not nice anyway. It will be very bad, and people, whenever they see him, they will be talking about him, saying is this is, and it's not that good. It's really very, very bad. And then in some cases, some wives have unpleasant smell or struggles in other things. Don't expose her. Just keep it to yourself and seek for medical solutions or other things, and your marriage will continue. And then, guys, I think I've shared a lot about um, secrets that you should keep in our marriages. So, guys, if you have other secrets that I have left out, leave them down in the comment section below, and let's share and talk and know the things that we should keep secret in our marriages. So, guys, that's the end of our video today. We are looking for out for the next video soonest. So, guys, if you've not subscribed, hey, what are you waiting for? Go now, hit the red subscription button, like my video, and leave all those sweet comments, guys. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. So, guys, until next time, bye bye.